Hello everyone, and welcome back to Thread and Petal. Do you have a crew neck tee that feels a little too restrictive around the collar? Don't be so quick to toss it out. With a little ingenuity, a fabric insert, and a few careful stitches, we can transform a standard collar into a sharp V neckline that is both flattering and durable. You can even use contrasting thread to turn your stitching into a signature design feature. What's great is that you have complete control over how deep you want your V-neck to go. Join me step by step and stick around to see the transformation at the end of the video. First, fold the neckline in half along the shoulder seams to pinpoint its exact center. Next, use tailor's chalk to mark the center point, then draw a straight line vertically downward from your mark. From the neckline, I'm measuring down about 6 centimeters. This is the exact depth I've chosen for the V-neck in today's video. That said, you can easily tailor this length to your liking. If you prefer a deeper, more plunging neckline, simply extend the measurement. If you'd rather keep it modest, just pull it up a notch. Next, lay the fabric insert over the neckline, aligning it precisely with your guideline to ensure the placement matches up seamlessly. Use tailor's pins or baste a quick straight line to anchor the insert, preventing the fabric from shifting as you work. Now from the center line at the neckline, I'm going to mark 2 centimeters out to both the left and right. Next, connect those 2 outer points down to the bottom tip of your center guideline to trace out a clean V shape. Repeat the process to create a second set of markings, maintaining that same 2 centimeter interval to form 2 nested V shapes, one inner and one outer. Once your markings are complete, trim away the excess fabric from the insert, following the outline you just traced. At this stage, it's wise to double-check your guidelines before making the cut. Getting it right from the offset will make the upcoming stitching steps so much easier and far more refined. Now we're moving on to the most crucial part of the entire process. I'll be using a backstitch to sew the inner V-shaped line first. You can visualize this as creating 2 nested V shapes, like 2 inverted triangles. A smaller V nestled inside a larger outer V. The great thing about the backstitch is its remarkable strength. The stitches stay tight, uniform, and help the collar hold its structure even after repeated wearing and washing. That's precisely why I prefer using a backstitch for this V neckline over simpler methods, which tend to loosen or unravel over time. Pay extra attention when you reach the point of the V, take your time, and work with precision. This is the single most critical anchor point of the entire neckline. A clean, tight stitch right at the tip ensures that when you flip the fabric right side out, the V shape lays perfectly flat and crisp, preventing any unwanted puckering or bubbling. If you're following along with me, pause for a moment at the apex to make sure your stitches are securely anchored. A little extra care here goes a long way toward a flawless, high-end finish. With the triangular seam line complete, it's time to cut into the neckline. Slash along the inner edge of the triangle, taking care to leave a seam allowance of about 0.5 to 0.7 centimeters. Resist the urge to snip too close to the stitching. Cutting too tight risks fraying the fabric and structural failure over time. At the apex of the V and along its 2 sides, I'm going to make a few small relief snips. These tiny slits are absolutely vital. They allow the fabric to spread smoothly when turned right side out, preventing any unsightly puckering or bunching at the bottom point. Just remember to snip with care and precision, taking care not to clip into the stitch line itself. Next, use a backstitch to sew an additional line through the facing fabric and the neckline seam allowance. For this step, aim to stitch as close to the seam edge as possible. This row of stitching serves to stabilize the neckline margin, locking it firmly in place and preventing it from fraying, shifting, or rolling out of shape after wearing and laundering. If you've made it this far into the video, drop a comment down below and let me know. Do you prefer a deep, plunging V-neck or a more subtle, modest cut? I'm so curious to see which style wins you over. Once the sewing is complete, turn the fabric insert entirely to the inside, just as shown in the video. On the right side of the shirt, use pins or baste along the V-line to anchor the insert securely in place. Next, turn the garment inside out. Neatly fold the excess fabric of the insert inward, then baste or pin another row to secure the inner side of the shirt. At this stage, I strongly recommend basting both sides of the garment. While pinning might seem quicker, the fabric can still shift out of place as you sew. Basting locks all the layers down securely, ensuring your final stitches are clean, crisp, and precise. With the fabric firmly anchored in place, I'll finish off the raw edge to prevent it from fraying. Next, turn the shirt back to the right side and gently pull out the 2 lines of basting thread. As you can see, the V neckline is really starting to take shape now. If you found this tutorial clear and helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to support Thread and Petal. And if you have any old tees you'd love to upcycle, save this video so you can jump right back into it whenever you're ready. Now for the final step, the one that gives the shirt its distinct personality. I'll be using a contrasting thread to add a decorative accent to the V neckline. For this, I've chosen a vibrant orange thread, and we'll be using a running stitch to trace a clean line right down the center of the V. The running stitch is fairly straightforward, but when executed with a contrasting thread, it transforms into a striking accent detail. With the central orange stitching in place, I'm switching to a different thread color to add 2 flanking rows on either side. Three parallel rows of stitching bring the V neckline into sharp focus, lending the garment an intentionally designed aesthetic rather than looking like a quick cut and alter job. When you reach the end, be sure to knot your thread securely so the stitching won't unravel. And just like that, our V-neck transformation is complete. Starting with a plain, simple collar, we now have a neat, sturdy V-neck that stands out thanks to the decorative colored thread. You can easily adjust the neck depth and thread colors to match your personal taste. The neckline fits snugly, the V-shape is clean yet natural, and the colored stitching provides a subtle, distinctive accent. Pretty amazing, right? With just a few basic sewing tools, we've turned an old shirt into a fresh new piece. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Thread and Petal, and share this with anyone who loves sewing. Which part would you like to revamp next? The collar, the sleeves, or the hem? Leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching until the very end. Don't rush to throw away your old clothes, because a little creativity goes a long way in giving them new life. See you in the next Thread and Petal videos.